going to show you how to clean and lube the Freehub body on a bike wheel. Generally, unless it's causing you problems, you don't really want to mess with it. But in this case, I'm going to be overhauling the hub on this wheel. So there's not much extra work to go ahead and pull the hub off, or the Freehub off. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, you want to start off by removing the skewer. Then put the spring on there. Don't want to lose that stuff, so put that aside. Next, you're going to remove the cassette, and you're going to need like a cassette removal tool. Put that on there, and a chain whip to hold the cassette, and then go ahead and then just turn this little lock ring counterclockwise. Then you go ahead and remove the little lock ring. Pull that off, and then the whole cassette will come right off. Just go ahead and put that aside. And there's the Freehub. But in order to pull the Freehub off, we're going to have to remove the axle. So, flip the wheel over. There's like a rubber boot around here. Go ahead, use like a screwdriver, get under that, lift it up, and we're going to pull that off. There. And then that exposes the cone, the spacers, and the lock nut there. Now I can use a cone wrench to go ahead and hold the cone, and then use a crescent wrench to go ahead and loosen this lock nut up here. And then go ahead and pull that off. There's the lock nut. There's a spacer, another spacer, and now we have the cone here. And I want to go ahead and remove this cone. And just spin that off. And there's the cone. Flip the wheel over. And you can go ahead and pull the axle out. To go ahead and stick all those parts aside. Now I can go ahead and remove the Freehub body. I have a large Allen wrench. This is 10 millimeters. This is the most common size. You might run into ones that use slightly larger sizes. And some you might have come in from the other side, I've heard, but this one, just go ahead and stick it in here. And then, let me see, turn this counterclockwise. It could be really tight, and this one is. So I'm going to get a cheater bar, and there. Go ahead and loosen this little part in here. And I have the Freehub off. Now I want to go ahead and remove the bearings out of there. And then I can pull this little part out here. Now on the back side of the Freehub body, there's a little rubber seal that goes around in here. So you use like a very small little screwdriver, reach under there, and just pry this up. Careful not to damage it. And then you pull that out. Then that exposes all the bearings in there. Don't worry, they're not going to fall out. Now to clean out all the old grease, what I'm going to do is submerge this into a jar of a solvent. For this, I'm using paint thinner, and I'm just going to go ahead and let that soak in there. And then what I'm going to do is periodically pull this out and rotate the inner part in there to help get everything all freed up in there. But just go ahead and leave that soak in there for a significant amount of time, as long as you got, and we'll come back to it. Okay, after it's been soaking in there for a while, go ahead and pull it out. Let it drain. Dry it off. And then go ahead and let it set and let all the solvent drain out of it. You want it nice and clear of the solvent. Okay, after the Freehub body has had a chance to dry, you want to go ahead and lubricate it using like an oil similar to like Fill Tenacious oil, which is a heavy oil. It's kind of sticky. It's really good. Sticks to the bearings. Just go ahead and drip it into this crack between the two parts where the bearings are. And then go ahead, rotate this around, let it work its way in. And you should notice a difference in sound as you turn it. It should get a little quieter. Then you go ahead and dry off all the excess. Then go ahead and take the rubber seal that we pulled off before and just press this in there. Now we're ready to reinstall it. Okay, now we're ready to reattach the Freehub body to the wheel. So I've got this little part here. This is going to slide down into there. Don't forget, if there were any spacers or washers on there, to go ahead and make sure those go back on there. Just sit that down on there, and then screw this on clockwise. Like that. And it was on there pretty tight, so go ahead and tighten it pretty well, but you don't have to like be a gorilla about it either. There, so that's on there pretty well. Now I want to go ahead, repack the race in here with some grease. I'm using just regular automotive type grease, general purpose type grease. Get lots of grease right into the race because you want the bearings to be able to stick in there. And then there were 9 1/4-inch bearings on each side, so just go ahead and place them in there. There, 9 bearings. Then go ahead and flip the wheel over. Put some grease down in this race here. Insert the bearings around the race. Now flip the wheel back over. We're going to go ahead and insert the axle down through the Freehub. And again, flip the wheel over. Now we go ahead and take the cone, and you want the cone side down with the race part facing down. So just go ahead and screw that on. And screw it down till you feel it hits the bearings, and then just back it off just a little bit. Now we're going to put the spacers back on. So the big spacer goes on first, then the thinner spacer goes on. Then we're going to put the lock nut on, and we want the ridges facing out, or up in this case. Just tighten that, just kind of finger tight at this moment. Then, nope. Turn the axle, see how it feels. Does it feel smooth? And it feels pretty good. Feel for play, and that actually feels pretty good. Now put the cone wrench down on the cone and tighten the lock nut. Don't crank it down quite yet. Now feel the axle. How does it feel smooth? Is there much play? And this actually feels pretty good. It's not binding or anything, so that's good. So go ahead, put the cone wrench back on the cone, and then tighten the lock nut all the way. And then again, just feel the axle, make sure that it's still moving smoothly. And that's moving really well. Okay, now you want to go ahead and reinstall this little rubber seal here. Just slide this over, snap it down, and it will snap in around the nuts there and around the wheel there. Go ahead, flip the wheel over. Now we want to go ahead and reinstall the cassette. And if you look, there's like a wide gap like right here. Find like the wide notch on the cassette, line that up, and it'll slide right down. There was a little spacer in here, then another little cog here, and then another little cog. Find the wide notch right there. That fits on there. Get the lock ring. Get the tool, screw that on. Tighten this on. You don't need to crank this on. Just tighten it down a little bit. Go ahead, reinstall the skewer. Reinstall the wheel on the bike, and you're done. And that is how you clean and lubricate a Freehub. I hope that helps.